Do you think that certain individuals have like I guess maybe a genetic ceiling for the amount of muscle that they can carry on their frame?
Yeah, and this has been studied really extensively abroad. It's now slowly making its way into popular American sport. So what they've kind of found is they've measured everybody from, sprinters to gymnasts to rugby players to soccer players, everybody all over the globe. And what seems to be this sweet spot is, you can all these measures are all indirect measures. So the only way you can really figure out muscle mass bone is slice somebody open as a cadaver.
Sure.
But for the most part, if you can calculate and estimate skeletal mass, then there's an upper ratio of, depending on ethnicity. For Caucasians, it's about 5.0, 5 to 1 muscle to bone. For, your African Americans, for your, I guess, biracial type people, it's upwards of 5.5 to 1. Now, if you're juicing and if you're, geared up and you're, pro bodybuilder IFBB, then you're going to be able to shoot through that ceiling for a reason. But again, I've been measuring guys for the past 3 years. And when I do the measures as opposed to other people, it still holds true. Like, you have this range, and generally you might get some outliers, but it still holds true. Like, very rarely we won't see guys over that 5.5 because they might have bigger skeleton frame sizes. They might have more muscle mass, but when you get down to that ratio, it kind of still holds true because without the use of performance enhancing drugs, it's harder to get above that threshold.
Interesting. So with I remember when we got the bod pod, Texas Herd Tell Me story, we put everybody in, and we actually created an award for the guy that had the highest percentage of body fat. We took a potato head and put it in a little box, and I think I want to say it was probably 29% was the highest, and then I was the lowest. I was 8. So I was the only dude over 300 pounds they'd ever tested under 10% body fat. So I was 308 pounds, and I think I was 282 pounds of lean muscle, which fucking blew the top off of all their tests. So at that point, I was the only dude over 300, and a white dude too on top of it, which they fucking blew their minds.
Yeah,
but also
which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I dieted like a motherfucker for it. I was eating ground beef and rice for 3 weeks and totally cut water. Well, I wanted to fucking look great and win. We had a $10,000 pot on it.
Damn.
So, I mean, for $10,000, I'll fucking suffer for 3 or 4 weeks.
Didn't you say some guys brought a roll of quarters in there?
Yeah, you could cheat it. Trey Thomas took a roll of quarters and was shoving them in his butt crack, like rolls, and then was wearing his tights because it improves the mass. Because it can, obviously roll of quarters,
on the front side, right?
No, I think he put it in his ass crack, and I think it was a couple rolls, and it helped him. He because everybody was mortified that they were going to get that, and I want to say it was Hank Fraley or Jamal Jackson ended up getting that bod pod award. It was fucking hilarious. It was some of my greatest work. But yeah, no, we were pretty funny with it, man. As you know, just certain body types, and I think what's happened. The problem is that there were dudes that I played with, and I'm sure you saw this too, where you saw them with their shirts off, and you're like, this dude looks awful, but goddamn, this guy is a fucking athlete. Could move. And then I remember there was one dude they brought in I think they brought him in on a Thursday. They signed him, and I watched the dude bench 585 for an easy triple on the bench. This dude was fucking massive. We went out on the practice field, and he was standing straight up defensive lineman, and I hit him, and he tea-kettled 3 plays in a row. They cut him before practice ended. The guy was like, hey, come with us. We're afraid you're going to get hurt. I mean, this dude was every bit of 6'5", 300. I mean, he was so fucking strong. So it was so interesting when, the body type and even the more awkward dudes tended to be really athletic. And you start noticing things like, that guy's kind of bow-legged and pigeon-toed and he's got real wide hips. And that guy just gives me a fit, or, you'd see a dude turn around and he looks like he's got a Chevy 350 in his pants because his ass is so big, And it just really just made me realize, and whenever people ask me, I'm sure you've seen this and you'll agree, the NFL is this land of outliers, where you take genetic freaks and these guys that just have such a unique skill set, and then you put them into this competition, and I'm always amazed by what comes out. I mean, you're talking about some guys that are just freaks. I mean, Saquon Barkley's a great example. I mean, that dude's legs look like fucking tree stumps. And normally, a dude with legs that big is usually not that fast. All the real fast dudes I saw always were kind of high calf, smaller leg guys. But that dude is like Barry Sanders, just the outliers.